Today we're doing our chicken broth, and I'm finally going to do it. I pulled out 2 of our chickens from our farm, and we get our chicken processed. So this is what our chicken looks like from when we take it down and get it professionally done. Basically, they pluck them for us. It takes about 30 minutes, if that, and I can't remember how many we took down there. But they come like this after they're done. They're still a little bit warm, but we go ahead and we just put them in our freezers, and that's it. And so I pulled 2 of them out, and we're going to cut these up and place them in our pressure cooker so that we can make our own homemade chicken broth. And I'm going to show you that as soon as I get this camera set up in a different way. I'll be right back. Let's get started. Today I'm doing 2 batches, so I'm going to do one and then duplicate the next one, but just the first one will be on the video. So one chicken will do 7 quarts of chicken broth. So like I said, we do a lot here, so I'm going to do it. I do it one day, being like a Sunday when I've got time to just do take this, because this is a process. It's going to take you some time, especially if you don't know, if this is your first time doing it. It's going to take you some time, so please be aware of that. But I'm going to try to make it as less as less time as possible. So let's get started. Okay, well, I'm going to rinse the chicken and get any hairs I see that they missed at the factory plucking. Looks like they did a good job. I even left the neck on for me, which is nice. So you can ask them, or they'll ask you if you want the innards or whatever you want. This one's already been cleaned out and we have the innards. So what I'll do is I'll take it over here and I will cut it up. If there's anything else, just moving it because it's been frozen. So I had to take it out last night just so it'll thaw all the way, if I can actually cut into it. I like to put my chicken in pieces in my crock pot. Not crock pot, but my pressure cooker. So if I can slice it up, that's what I'm going to do. So, and I'm not a professional cutter here, so any way I can get it into the pan would be the best. And since this is a little bit frozen, it might be a little bit more difficult for me to get it into pieces, but it should be all right. As I can pull it away from the bone, just like that. It is kind of difficult to do that, but you'll see the bone right there. See how that is? And then just want to take your knife and just cut where you see the bone. Cut around that bone. There you go. Cut around the bone. That's one piece. I'm going to put that in my pressure cooker. Just lay it down in there. And I might just go ahead and take off this bone here. This will be the wing. Just go ahead and take those off. Just like that. Pull them in there. And we're going to take this wing off first. There you go. Pretty good. Down. Just take it off. But I am not a professional, so it doesn't matter if you are or not. You can still make chicken broth and what you need to do. Nobody's going to stop you from eating, that's for sure. So, maybe I shouldn't be using a bigger knife, but that's okay. I like using my big knife. I just need to pop that. Break it. Where is it? I think I got the whole thing, but that's okay. Pop. Pop. Probably go better with the second one, always does. There you go. See, I popped that bone. I'm just going to stick it right in the pan. And this, I'm going to leave that neck on there, that's fine. This right here is where you can see, let's see. Wow. Take a piece off. Just put it down. Breaking it off. That's the back. And then you have the meats, the top of the meats. And here I'm not even going to mess with it. I'm just going to leave it just like it is. So it's just going to have all the rib meat right here. I'm just going to put that whole piece in there. And that's how I do that. Alright, I'm going to take you over to the stove and show you what we're looking at in our pressure cooker. Just give me a second. Here's what we're looking at. I just placed all of my chicken in my pressure cooker. I do have the bottom plate in here, if you can see. There's my bottom plate. Leave that in there. Nothing's going to burn. Okay, and I'm going to put my chicken in there. I go ahead and add my water. And chicken is room temperature, water is room temperature. Water. If you wonder why my jugs, my water's in these jugs, is because we purify our water through our water purifiers, and then we put them in these jugs so we have fresh water. Nice, clean, purified water. Okay, so here's the chicken, the water, and I'm just going to go by my recipe here. Put that to the side. So I'm going to need 1 cup of my chicken bouillon. One cup here. And then 1 cup of butter, which is 2 sticks. Stick these in there. These are half sticks, so do 4 to make it 2 sticks of butter. And let's see, the 2 sticks of butter, and then we have 3 tablespoons of minced garlic. I think I'm gonna have to, let's see, I used that this morning. Here's my minced garlic. 3 tablespoons of minced garlic. 1, 2, And then do 3 teaspoons of parsley. And this is a half a teaspoon, so I'll have to double it. So it'll be 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of those. We got thyme. 3 teaspoons of thyme as well. So it'll be 6 because I have half a teaspoon. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. Okay, 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And a teaspoon of garlic powder. And 1 teaspoon of brown sugar. I think this is just to offset that salt a little bit. So you always use a little bit of sugar with a little bit of salt. And it goes really well. And then let's see what we've got. Did the brown sugar, all of that. So all I'm missing now is my onion. So I'm going to go ahead and get my onion done. Dice up my onion. Where's my dicer? I don't know where my dicer went. There's my dicer. Here's my dicer. Put it all together here. Probably could just dice it by hand, but you know what? It's okay. I want them to be minced up, so they'll minced up nice and tiny. So that will be kind of really emulsed when they go through the pressure cooker. They'll be so small they just kind of melt right into the broth. And whatever's not melted will. Oh, this is an old onion. I don't want that. Go ahead and grab a different onion. Okay. I don't want that old onion. I'll do this one. Don't forget to save your pieces for your vegetable broth. So even this is an old onion, you can still take it, freeze it, use it for your vegetable broth. And not these pieces that, not the shell, but the onion itself part. What you would eat part. Just go ahead and throw that in there. In your freezer bag for your vegetable broth. And if you don't know how to make vegetable broth, you can go in and check out my video for vegetable broth and you can do that. Maybe I should be doing this on, probably not. I'll be whacking it pretty good. There we go. There we go. pan. Throw those in. 1 onion. Okay. Then I'll leave everything out because I'm going to be making a second batch. But for you guys, I'm just showing you exactly what's going in here. And then we're going to place the lid on. And the lid, we'll have to find out where the V is and connect it to the spot here. So here we go. And that sets nice. Lock it. Put your 15 pounds of pressure on there. And we will turn it on high. And we will let this cook until it starts to sputter. When it starts to sputter, we will set the timer. And I'm going to do, these are my farm chickens, so I am going to do this probably for at least 35 minutes once it gets up to the sputtering part. Usually I do 25 minutes on there if they're chickens from the store. So, but these are my farm chickens, and so I'm going to do them for a little bit longer, just so they're nice and soft, and the meat comes out really, really well because I'm using my roosters. So when we get, I'll come back when it starts to sputter, and then we can set the timer. Okay, it's starting to sputter. I'm going to go ahead and set my set my timer for 30 minutes. Okay. The timer's been set. See it spurted like that, and that's what you want to see. So we'll be back here in 30 minutes, okay? Okay, as you can see, the timer has went off, and so we're going to release the pressure, just like that. I'm going to take it off the heat, turn off the stove, and just let the pressure and steam just go out. And when it's done, this little valve here will go all the way down, and then I can open up the door, or open up the lid. Be right back. We are ready to take the top off. You see there's no more steam coming out of there, so I can lift that out. And the little valve, this pressure valve is down, so I can turn it. I'm going to do it facing away from me, just like that. Set that down, and if you look, this is what it's going to look like when you open it up. A whole bunch of chicken in there. Straight down the sides, you're going to want that seasoning in there. So I'm just going to pull out this chicken. Look at that, it's just falling apart. So you see that? Take that there. I'm just going to pull it all out. Ooh. Just be careful you don't get splashed yourself. Just like that. Find the little pieces and pull them out. Let them cool. That's it. Oh, nope, got one more wing out of here. We're going to let those cool down a little bit. Don't let them get too cold because it'll be harder to peel off the bone, I guess. It's nice when it's warm. So I don't feel any more. So leave this alone. Pull this meat, shake the meat a little bit, kind of get it off of that bone. If you can shake it, it should just peel right out of there. Look at that meat. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's nothing like hot. Right off the bone. It's nothing like it. So good. So good. Anyway, I've got my broth. I've also got, move my chicken out of the way to let it cool. And I've got a bowl here, a strainer. I'm going to pour my chicken broth through to collect any of the onion, any big particles out of it, any bones, whatever. So just with that, start pouring it in. Probably can't even see that. Do it this way. So you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright, that's half. I've got another bowl here. Switch it up. Switch it up to this bowl. Pour the rest. Taking all that garlic, all that little stuff. Alright, that back onto the stove. I'm gonna grab those little pieces out of there. Kind of left in there. Alright, those over there, still good. That goes to my chicken. Okay. Any other pieces that I don't want, which are in this, I don't want to keep any of the garlic or the onion. Okay, I just want the juice. So I'm just gonna toss that out. We don't want that. Okay. And then we're going to start pouring these, ladling them into our nice hot jars. Just like we did in the video for canning, I'm going to go ahead and get my jars. I'm going to heat them up. I'm just going to rinse them off because they're already clean. I'm going to rinse them off, stick them in the microwave for 2 minutes, bring them out here and start filling them up with liquid. I'll be right back. Let me get those jars set up. Okay, these jars have already been washed a long time ago. I just rinsed them out, stuck them in the microwave for a couple minutes to get them nice and hot and kill anything that's needs to be killed. Any bacteria, whatever. And then I've got my homemade funnel here that I made. I do have my other funnel, but I can't find it, so I'm just going to use this is my, I use this for like flour and stuff like that, dry goods, but that's fine. I'll use it here for my broth as well. So I'm just going to stick these in the jars, fill them all the way up to, I'm going to fill them up to this first little knob here, a little line up there. And like I said, this is going to make 7 quarts, and then the rest of the juice we can use for fill it up almost to the top, because I want to make sure that everything has the same amount of fat in it. So, and you'll be able to tell here in a minute what I'm talking about. Get that down, and then I can pour it into the jar. Not used to using this little thing, this funnel. Be careful. Splash it all over myself. Just going to leave a little bit of head space because I want to make sure they all have pretty much the same amount of fat in them. So I'm going to move these over, bring this over here, get this going. A little bit of head space, get some more fat in that. It takes a minute to get these jars filled up. A little bit more fat in those. And I'm just filling up like I said, draining my bowl here, and so I can actually handle it to pour it in. Gives me enough space to do that. I have 2 more jars. I think I can pour it now. Just gotta be careful. On this side. Next one. All right. Thinking. Let's see. Okay. See how who's got the most fat here. Pour some of this in here. Just checking out my. Get the rest of the stuff poured in there. That's it. That's our broth. And if you can see, you're going to make sure that, that each of them have approximately the same amount of fat. And I think I'm going to switch some of this out here. Take some fat out of here. I'm going to put some more into, which one did I say I wanted to do? This one here. Take some fat out. Some more in there. Okay, that'll be good. Everyone's got at least a little bit of fat. A bit more fat, I think. More juice. Okay, I think that's great. Okay. Now you do want to use vinegar. You will want some paper towels with vinegar on it. You could use regular vinegar, or you can use apple cider vinegar. Doesn't matter. Just vinegar, because we want to be able to cut the grease. This has got a lot of grease, so we want to be able to wipe these down with some vinegar, cut that grease out of there so that these lids will seal. And so you just want to wipe them around really good. That vinegar, get any, just keep moving it around, get any of that grease out of there, so we want it to seal really well. I'm going to get my lids. Now, if you can see, these are wide mouth lids, or wide mouth, excuse me, jars, so I need the wide mouth lids. And I have put them, I'll put these lids in here. I think I've got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to get some hot water, put these in. A little bit of soap here, hot water. Hot water, a little bit of my soap, and I'm just going to put those in really good. Almost look like 2. Put them in their opposite direction so they don't stick, of course. I'm just going to give those up a little mix there, get them in that soapy water, and take them over to the sink, rinse them out really well, and then we'll put them on top. on top, and I've got my rings that we get here. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got my little 7 rings ready to go on my jars when they're going to get put in. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is, let's see where we're at here. Stick these on. Give them a shake. Shake those off. Just like that. Okay. Go. The lids on. Now you want these on tight, okay? You don't want them loose, you want them tight, because as they cook, they will loosen up. So I suggest you put them on as tight as a woman can, I guess, because the guys might be a lot tighter than we can, but I think for women, it can just be as tight as you can put it on, because they will loosen up in the cooker. So I will use my towel I've got here. Just use the towel, get them tighter, as tight as I can put them in there. Then I'll go to my pressure cooker. I'm going to go ahead and wash it and then put these jars in it and get these started. You can see all that. Oh, so good. The bone broth in there is going to be good with the chicken broth. So it's not just chicken broth, okay? It's got bone broth in there too. And that's because we used the chickens, the whole chicken, with the bone in it, not just the meat. So this will be an exceptionally good chicken broth. Okay, it's ready to go into the pressure cooker. I'm going to go ahead and wash up the pressure cooker and get them set in there, and I'll be right back. It's time to put the jars in. So I will, got it washed nice and neat and clean. Put that bottom back in there. Set my jars in here. Okay. Set the jars in. Then I need to get my pitcher so I can get some water in there, and I'm going to fill up the water on the outside of the jars. So if you look at this, you want to fill it up to about, not halfway, but a little bit, probably about up to that much of water. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to get that filled up. Pour it in here. And just watch as you pour it in there. So the line comes up too. A little bit more. Yeah. Okay. Then we'll put the lid back on it. We're going to pressure cook these. They're quarts, so we will be pressurizing them for 25 minutes. The mark. Set on the mark. Lock it. Put the 15 pounds of pressure. Turn it on high again. Okay, and then we're just going to do the same thing. Let this come to pressure. It starts to sputter like that. And we're going to do it for 25 minutes. Take it off. Take the jars out. And when it's done, I will be right back. Okay, and while your jars are in there cooking in the pressure cooker, we're going to go ahead and debone our meat. And so I've got a bowl here with meat in it. I'm going to use my bowl to put my chicken bones in. And then also, remember to save your fat. The chicken fat, save it. Because this is going to make your chicken grease. Okay? So don't get rid of that fat. Now, any pieces you don't want, just toss them out. Any pieces you want to keep, put it in with the meat. Just make sure there's no bones in there. Like, this is a really good piece of meat, but I like to just to check, make sure there's nothing in there that I don't want. Any little bones in there, you can feel them. So you definitely want to use your hands, okay? Because you want to be able to feel the bones. So this, of course, is all fat, and we want to keep that. We want the fat. Stuff I don't want, I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm going to give it all to my cats, and they'll be appreciative of that. Right now they're eating on snow carp. They were eating on snow geese, but now they're eating snow carp. And hunters bring them in, and they want to get rid of the carcasses. So my cats get better food than most cats do anyway, because they're getting, most people's, they buy their stuff from the store, so of course it's not going to be like the best. But if you can give them snow carp or snow geese, better for them. And actually, goose meat is really, really good. So if you get a chance to eat some goose meat, I would recommend that. Goose roast, they make it all kinds of ways. So I'm just going to go through all this meat, dark meat, white meat. I'm putting it all together. It does makes no difference to me. However you like what you like. So just keep what you like, discard what you don't. That's a bristle. I can put that in there with the fat. Any fat pieces, keep those in there. I guess it's just a matter of going through it all. And you can either freeze this in a baggie, or you can can it. Most of the time I do can it, because I have maybe 5 pints of meat, because I'm making like 2 batches. So we'll see how much I can get in a jar. I'm not really sure. And it just depends on how big the rooster was, You guys at the store, you guys are going to eat hens. You're not really going to get roosters. So as you can see, this meat is a little different because it does have, these are roosters. So, and I don't know, I would say my opinion, and it probably doesn't really matter to anybody, but in my opinion, the rooster meat has a lot more flavor to it. Some people say it's really hard, but it wouldn't be hard if it's cooked properly. So you have to put it in for longer if it's the rooster meat is kind of hard. So it's totally up to you. But just like that, whatever you want, just put it in what you want. Get rid of the bones. So I'm going to go ahead and go through all this stuff, and I'll come back when my jars are done, and we'll figure out how much meat came off of that rooster. I got all my chicken deboned. There's my chicken fat. There's all my chicken, and I'm just shoving it into these jars. Just pushing it down. Just like that with my fingers. Just pressing it down. So I can get a pint, 2 pints out of it. Should be able to get 2 pints out of it. That was one rooster. I'm going to get the other chicken done, the other one that I have to go. And when I do that, I will, that's the reason why I really do chickens, because that way when I do my pint jars for my chicken, I have enough really to do, to put it in the pressure cooker. So it could be 4 to 5 pints of meat that I'm going to do at a time. So this only gives me maybe 2 right now, depending on what, you know. I'm just going to wait until I get my other chicken done, and then I'll process that. So I put the chicken in there. I'll put the chicken up to the mark. Then I will fill it with a little bit of chicken broth, leftover chicken broth that I have from cooking. And then I'll fill it up till all the bubbles and everything will come out of there, and you just kind of tap it and kind of shake it left and right and get all the bubbles out of there, and with the broth in here. So chicken broth, get all the bubbles out, and then you're going to use the vinegar and a paper towel to wipe those off, and you're going to put your hot lids on there, nice clean lids and rings, and then you'll pressurize these for 15 minutes. The pints go for 15, and that's how we do the meat. But today I was just going to show you how to do chicken broth. So maybe one day I'll do a video on the meat. Maybe I'll do the video later when I have all the meat that I need to do, and then put it in the pressure cooker and show you that. But take the chicken fat, put that in a baggie, start your new baggie with chicken fat, and you'll throw that in there, and then you'll just keep those chicken fats going until you get a big enough amount to render down. And I do have a video for that, for rendering chicken fat. So my jars are, the pressure's still coming up in my pot, and it's almost time to set the timer. So I'll be right back. Starting to sputter now, pretty good. So I went ahead and I started the timer for 25 minutes. And I already started a little bit earlier before I turned this on, but it was 25 minutes. So in 25 minutes, I'll be able to take this out. I'll be back. Timer went off, so I'm going to turn off the stove, pull this off the heat, let out the steam, just let it out, and then when all the steam is gone, I'll be back. Okay, so it's ready to be pressure to take off here, so we're no more steam. Take it off. Open the door here. Set that to the side. Okay, my little grabber. We're going to take all these jars and I'm going to set them on the towel over here and we'll let them cool. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do both, but you'll see. Take them out, set them down. Let me change direction here. Okay, so I changed directions. Just grab it, get the water off the top, take it over to my towel, just set them, get the water off, set them over there to the side, get them all out. They're still nice and bubbly. Okay, there's 3. It looks like this one came a little bit loose because remember we filled it all the way up to the top, so you can see some of it came out in the water. So that might not seal, I don't know, but we'll see. If it doesn't seal, I'll just go ahead and put it in the refrigerator and use it right away. Not a big deal. We use chicken broth a lot around here. So as you can see, it's still hot. It's bubbling pretty good there. And we're just going to let them cool down all the way. Then probably by tomorrow they'll be nice and cool. They'll be nice and sealed. Anything that didn't get sealed will be put in the refrigerator. And But before we do that, when they're nice and cold, we'll give them a nice bath because they have all that chicken. So this one came out a little bit, and so that's what was in the water. Well, the water is kind of icky right now because it has the fat in the water. So we're going to have to give these a bath. We will, when they're all nice and cold, we'll put them in just straight soapy water, and we'll just wipe around the edges and the top, take the rings off, leave the seal on, and wipe around everything, and I'll show you that tomorrow. Alright, so I've got here 3 pints of meat from those 2 birds that I did, and I'm just going to take some chicken broth here that I have. I'm just going to fill this up to the edge. Okay, so you see what I'm doing. Pouring it in slowly. There you go. And then we'll do this one here. Slowly. Make sure the bubbles. Let me get the bubbles out. So tap it, kind of give it a shake. Get all those bubbles out. All of them, kind of do the same thing here. Get any bubbles out of here. That's what you want. Don't want any bubbles. You can see they're all filled up to the brim on this first notch. I want it to be filled up to right there. Okay. And then, of course, you're going to take your vinegar and you're going to go around all the rims, all the way around the rims. Okay, before we put the lids on. Okay. And then we can go ahead and pressure cook these now for 15 minutes on these only. I'm going to go ahead and get these, my second set in the pressure cooker, and get those going. And then I'm going to process my meat, and then I'll be done. So these will be 25. These will be 15. Okay. And then tomorrow we will clean everything up and put everything away. We're back. It's the next day, and it is time to finish up these jars of chicken broth. So I'm going to start a little sink full of a little bit of soapy water. Okay, nice and hot. Well, not too hot. I'm not trying to cook it again, so you just want to get it, you know, like a regular soapy water. And I'm just going to remove the rings here. So we don't need the rings anymore. The rings' purpose is just to keep these on so that they will cool and seal to the lid. So, or to the rim, I should say. And then get these rings off. Get a washcloth. You don't have to run a whole sink full, just a little bit. And I'm just going to take my washcloth and I'm going to just get any of that butter, grease, anything off of the jar that you don't want. The reason why I'm doing this is because the longer it sits in your pantry and you don't wash these jars, whatever particles that is left on this jar, it has a tendency of molding. So if you wash it and get all the particles off, you will have no mold here. No mold around the edges, you know, nothing growing on the sides. And you're just gonna rinse it off, dry it. Towel here, got a towel to dry that off. And then you're just gonna label it and put it in your pantry just like that, and you shouldn't have any problems. And these are sealed. They don't have the bubble in the top, so if you see when you look at the lid, you'll see that little indentation that you have has a little bubble on it. It's not straight, and you can press on it and make a clicking noise. All of them you should not be able to do that with if they're sealed. So make sure they're sealed before you put them in your pantry. Okay? If they're not sealed, you can put them in your refrigerator and use it right away. Within a week. I would just use it within a week, because then it'll start smelling rancid. It'll be like a vinegary smell. And take this, label it with a permanent marker, and this is my chicken broth, so I just put CB on it, and then the year, the month and the year. So it is March now, actually, and I'm just going to put 325 on it. That way I know what month I did it in the year. Don't really need the day on there. So, and I use pretty much, so my chicken broth goes pretty fast. So you'll know exactly how much you use and when you need to resupply yourself with chicken broth. But this I have found is the best chicken broth ever recipe. So if you want to go ahead and look up my canning basics, you can do that. But you know, if you want to downsize my recipe down so you don't have to make as much, but I usually make this much so I can go into my pantry. But like if you're 2 people and you don't want to do all that, just downsize my recipe to whatever you need to do. But try this recipe first before you downsize, and then you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, and that way you'll know when you downsize what taste you're looking for and how much seasonings you put in each one, just to make it taste the same, depending on how much you do. Usually 1 chicken is equivalent to 6 legs, 6 thighs, if you're looking for dark meat, which has more flavor. So hope you guys learned something, and hope you guys keep watching the channel. I love you guys, and I will see you soon.